How do you keep your guys from looking at this and maybe getting a little too uptight about a must-win? How do you just kind of keep them level this week about this game, despite the fact how big it is?
Well, I think you look at this week and you look at it as a great opportunity. I think it's the last 2 weeks have been we're focusing on ourselves, trying to get better, and really working toward that goal in practice, and trying to keep these guys from looking ahead to Florida State. And I thought we did a really good job of that. I think now that the Florida State week is here, our guys have, they've been looking at this moment. They've been looking at this date, and I don't think you have a problem with them getting them up for Florida State or getting overly excited early in the week or anything like that. These guys have been in big games before. They've been in they played Florida State last year here, and I think again you do what you do, and you put a good plan together, and I think you want them ready Saturday night at 8 o'clock is when you want them ready, and that's when they'll be ready.
Any concern that Taj is maybe increasingly taking some chances passing the ball against defenses that aren't as fast as what you'll see this week?
No, I think Taj has done a really good job this year. I thought there was a couple of instances last week that maybe he lost a little bit of an edge that on a couple of plays that he tried to force the ball, and that wasn't we haven't seen that in him this year. I think he's got to continue to manage the game and make good decisions with the football, whether that's pull the ball down and run, which he's done a good job of doing that. No, I think Taj has played well, I think that I think that's got to continue. Obviously, we've seen that, and it should. I mean, he's shown. I mean, what was it, 20 of 29 last week, and has done a really good job managing the game. Again, it's got to stay that way, and that's everybody in the country is going to say they got to have great quarterback play. So that's no surprise to anybody.
What are your overall impressions of Florida State's defense? What jumps out at you on film when you see that?
I just think, defensively, obviously they're the #1 ranked defense in the country. They've only allowed 1 point a game, and only giving up a field goal. I think they've only had an opponent that's only got into the red zone 3 times on them. So extremely fast. They're aggressive up front. They're going to press you up. They're going to try to get your face out on the edge and disrupt your route running, and try to get pressure with their 4-down guys. And so very well coached, but it's a group that they're veterans. They were the same group that were out here last year that we played against, and so they're a year older, but they're playing really well defensively.
What does it say about the depth on their defensive line, able to do this without Jenkins, considered one of the top defensive ends in the country?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that really stands out is their depth at all positions. I mean, they got depth in the secondary. Their interior front and the defense is, they're rotating 6, 7 guys in. They got great depth. It allows us to try to keep those guys' legs fresh, especially for late in the game. And obviously, they haven't had a chance to play 4 solid quarters, and so I know. So with that being said, they're going to be fresh, they're going to be ready, and this is a great opportunity for us, for an offensive unit. We're excited about this opportunity, and wow, what does it say for the ACC right now to have 2 top 10 teams playing each other in prime time on a Saturday night? I think it's going to be a great opportunity for both teams, and going to be a great atmosphere. I'm excited about that.
Are they doing anything different schematically that you didn't see last year from them?
No, absolutely not. They're the only thing I could say, they're pressing up a little bit more out on the edge. Or they have been the first 3 opponents that they played, they're trying to disrupt you. They're trying to play straight across at times and lock down press you and see if you can get off press coverage. So. But we saw that last year. They pressed us out here a little bit last year, but overall, I mean, they're not going to change what they do for us. I mean, they're going to do what they do and what's made them successful, and likewise with us. I mean, we're going to do what we do. So,
how excited are you as a play caller though to kind of go up against the defense at this kind of this good?
Oh, I'm really excited about it. Again, it's a great opportunity. I mean, this is these type of environments and situations don't come around every week, and so this is one that we've been looking at and preparing for, and we're excited about it. I mean, we are, but we know we've got a great challenge ahead of us. But that's good. We need that.
Chad, last year's game, how much more did maybe Sammy show you about his intelligence as an overall football player in the Florida State game? Him, identifying calls and kind of stepping up and making the plays that he did last year.
Well, I think you saw Sammy at this point in time last year. I think it was Game 4, I believe. You kind of saw his comfort. He started having a great comfort feel for the offense and for his role, and he was becoming more vocal as a leader and as a player. And so I think you saw that a year ago this time. But he was also a year ago this time kind of breaking through and still hadn't quite got his name out there, was sneaking up on everybody. Well, we know Sammy's not going to sneak up on anybody now. So, but just his intelligence and his ability to see the whole, the coverages and the broad scheme of things and be able to communicate on the sidelines. That is rare.
Chad, you mentioned last year going into after the Auburn game, after the fact, you told us there were some things that y'all had held back. Are there some things that folks have not yet seen that you've been practicing?
Well, I don't know so much of that, and if there was, I don't know if I could tell you anyways, and so, or if I would tell you, but I do know that I'm sure they're a lot like we are. I'm sure that they've held some things back, and they're going to do some things defensively that maybe we haven't seen. But in the end, I mean, you're going to, when it's 3rd and 4, you're going to do what you do, and they're going to do what they do. And so I think you got to make sure your guys are prepared. You're ready. You can't beat yourself in games like this. You got to have really good quarterback play. And I think that's from both sides. I mean, you look. I'm sure they're going to say the same thing. We're just excited about this opportunity. I mean, this is going to be a great week, and we're going to get out there this week and have a great work week, and we got to get some things corrected, and from last week's game, and we're going to do that. But that's kind of our approach right now with it.
When you talk about them playing press coverage, you really have to like your matchup. As scary as they can be defensively, Nuke Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, against press coverage has to be. Yeah,
I think you got to, again, that's you got to win versus press coverage, and that's whoever is going to press you up and challenge you. And that's one of the things that we talk to our guys about is, if someone's pressing you up with nobody over the top to help, there's not a lot of respect that they're giving you as a receiver. And so, you got to gain a lot of respect, and how do you do that? You do that by making plays. And, so we've seen them press a lot. We've also seen some off coverage. And so, again, there's some things that I'm sure that they're holding back for us. But our receivers, regardless who we play, have got to win versus press coverage.
Do they play defensive end Warner one specific side, or do they move him around a lot?
I'm sorry?
The defensive end who's got all the sacks.
Yeah.
Do they move him around?
Yeah, I think he's got 6.5 sacks, and they'll play him on one side, what they've shown too. Yeah.
How's the on the other side, opposite him? How's that side look to you?
It's been well. I mean, they've rotated a couple of guys in. They brought in a true freshman, the number 1 player in the country last year, Mario Edwards. We saw him. He got some experience last week playing. Very talented, very athletic, and they're very disruptive. I mean, that's the thing you could see right there. That's and there's just there's so much depth, and so it's really hard to they'll rotate guys in every series. Usually after the second series, you're going to see guys coming in and out, but again, those guys have very well coached, and that's their job, try to be disruptive as possible.
Is that where you're making an emphasis during the spring and summer to increase your tempo? Is this where that can be an advantage to kind of keep teams like that from substituting?
Well, I think you got to play great tempo this week, and as we have all year long to this point. I think our tempo has been really good, and I think it's no different. Again, you do what you do, and we're not going to change who we are, I think tempo is very critical for us, as it is every week. And, we need to be snapping the ball with 32 to 33 seconds on the clock. That's our goal. And see if we can't, push the limits in that regard.
Obvious passing downs, are they blitz often, or are they using their front four?
They'll bring a little bit of pressure. I mean, they will. Again, from the opponents that we've seen to this point, they hadn't had to pressure a whole lot. And so, but they're going to bring some pressure, and they'll get in their odd front, and they'll bring, their walk-around guy, and they'll bring pressure off that. I mean, it's,
What's a challenge for Taj this week then, if he's in a position where they're pressuring with 3 or 4, having success, and they're dropping 7?
I think it's every week. Again, it's regardless who you're playing. I mean, the challenge for Taj is to make sure that you're managing the game and you're moving the chains with your feet, with your eyes, with your arms, whatever it is. You've got to do a good job of not putting the ball in jeopardy. And he's done a good job at this point in time in the season. I mean, he really has. Taj is he's at his best when he's very active, and being able to see the field in that regard. So again, you ask me that next week, I'm going to tell you the same thing next week. So it's not. Yes, sir.
I was going to say, so do you just throw on the film last year of his little flip up that Warner caught just to remind you? None of that this week.
Oh, I'm sure those guys, our players, have already been telling him a little bit about that, but. Yeah, that was one that he wished he had back, but again, he was trying to throw the ball away. You just got to make sure we throw it away.
I know you like continuity on the offensive line, but your starting 5, what I would think would be your starting 5 this week, they haven't played together since the end of the Auburn game. Is that a concern?
Well, it is. It is a little bit. We've got to get them back in there. They obviously practicing together. We just made the decision to hold them out last week and try to make sure we get back healthy again. We've got to really push those guys. We've got to do a great job this week as a coaching staff of really challenging those guys and being physical. I think that's something that we lost a little bit of last week. I don't think we were quite as physical as I wanted them to be. Even though we did have some guys in there that hadn't been used to playing. It was a great opportunity for them to show how to be a little bit more physical, and they did at times, but they weren't as consistent as what I wanted them to be, or what we wanted as an offensive staff. And so that's to get those guys back, to get David Beasley back, and Giff Timothy. I think that's going to be the challenge this week. With Giff and his leg or his knee, he's 100% now, and now he's just got to from a mental mindset, he's got to get back to that tough edge that he had during fall camp.
How would you evaluate the line as a whole through these 3 games, the kind of progress they've made?
Well, I think it's, again, you look at it, it's a tale of it's 2 tails kind of thing. I mean, you got when your first group is in there, I think they've done a good job, not great job, or they may not show up to practice today. So they've done a good job, and I think that. One of the things we challenge them with is being physical and challenging them this year in fall camp and really working toward that. And they came out and they showed that, but then we had some injuries and be able to get some guys in, which has been a good thing, be able to create some depth in our offensive line over the last 2 weeks. So I think overall we've gotten better because we were able to create some depth. We were able to get some guys some key playing time. But you sure would like to see those guys play as much as they can together. And so it's, while we're doing some good things, we've got some young guys that are getting some quality reps, which is good, but they're not, and I think they're being able to see that, hey, the areas they've got to work on and becoming more physical. And some of those guys that are getting in and, some of our backup guys have really got to really challenge them with that.
Does Giff still have to win the right tackle spot, or is it the lose?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he comes out there this week and dancing around like he didn't have to prove anything, then yeah, he'll be over there with us. I mean, that's exactly right. But Shaq Anthony probably he did. He played as well as anybody up front. He's very athletic, and so I was excited to see that in Shaq because he's a guy that won the job early in his fall camp, then he lost it. and you're really kind of seeing his confidence level grow. Yeah, I mean, Gift's got to come out there. We're not just going to roll the red carpet out for him, and he's going to have to earn it back. But we feel like he should, but we'll see.
Chad, you guys beat them last year. You won the ACC. Obviously, you respect Florida State, but you're 13-point underdogs in this game. How do you think your players should receive the notion that y'all are supposed to lose handily down there?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to pick us to win. At least nobody outside of this building is going to pick us to win. So that's great. You know, that's we've been in ball games before where nobody picks us to win, and that's okay. You know, it's a great challenge for our team. It's a great challenge for our offense. I mean, you know, you're going against one of the best defenses in the country. If not, well, they are the best defense in the country, and we take great pride in what we're doing offensively. And so it's a great challenge, you know, and so, you know, our guys are going to be ready, and they're going to be down there. You know, we'll show up, and it's going to be good. And so, you know, we got great respect for Florida State and their program, and for Coach Fisher and Coach Stoops and what they're doing defensively. And but you know, I mean, our guys will be ready.
Do you like the fact that your guys have been on a big stage already this season, and they haven't faced what they're going to see?
Well, you know, again, you know, it gets back to I'm more worried about ourselves in that regard. I think that you know, I think that's going to help us in some preparation. I do, but just from the fact of, you know, going into an environment that we're going to be in. I mean, and so yeah, I think that's helped us, but you know, in the end, I mean, it's still going to boil down to blocking and tackling and taking care of the football. I mean, when you can put 85 people in the stands, or you can put 85,000 in the stands, and it's still going to boil down to block and tackle and take care of the football.
Did they match up with their corners, or are they restricted typically to field boundary side?
No, they'll go field boundary. They will. They'll go field boundary, and you know, they're a veteran group, and they're very aggressive. Their safeties are aggressive and very physical. So, but yeah, they'll go field boundary.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop.
All right.
Malachi.